What if one sentence, shouted in anger, while someone was handcuffed, was enough to shake the legacy of one of reality TV's most recognizable families? According to online reports and multiple eyewitness claims circulating right now, a tense law enforcement situation allegedly unfolded near Roloff Farms, an incident so sudden and chaotic that it immediately sent shockwaves through the Little People, big world fan community. Amid the flashing lights, raised voices, and mounting confusion, one moment stood out above all others. A tenant, reportedly restrained by officers, was allegedly heard screaming just 2 words. Matt knew. Those words spread like wildfire. Within hours, fan forums exploded. Social media timelines filled with speculation. Comment sections turned into digital courtrooms, with viewers dissecting every possible meaning behind that accusation. Did Matt Roloff really know something the public did? Was this a warning, a threat, or simply the desperate shout of someone in distress? Or is this another example of how quickly chaos, rumor, and half-heard claims can spiral into something much bigger than the truth? Today, we're breaking it all down. What's being claimed? What, if anything, has actually been confirmed? And why this single, emotionally charged moment, whether real, exaggerated, or misunderstood, has become one of the most talked about LPBW updates in years. This video is not about presenting accusations as fact. It's about examining what happens when reality TV fame collides with law enforcement, social media, and unanswered questions, and how one shouted sentence can ignite speculation faster than the truth can catch up. So let's slow this story down, separate fact from fiction, and look carefully at what we know and what we don't. What made that moment so powerful wasn't just what was said, but who it appeared to implicate. Within minutes, short clips, written accounts, and second-hand descriptions began circulating online. Commenters latched onto the phrase, "Matt knew," interpreting it in wildly different ways. Some believed it was a spontaneous outburst with no deeper meaning. Others saw it as a deliberate accusation, one aimed directly at Matt Roloff himself. According to witnesses, the shouting continued only briefly before officers moved the individual away from the area. There were no publicly released details about the tenant's identity, the reason for the detention, or whether any charges were filed. Law enforcement agencies involved have not issued official statements confirming the nature of the response, leaving much of the story grounded in online testimony rather than verified reports. That lack of confirmation is exactly what fueled speculation. Fans began asking questions almost immediately. What did the tenant mean by "Matt knew"? Knew what? And knew it when? Some theories suggested the words were spoken in anger without specific meaning. Others speculated about disputes involving property access, tenancy agreements, or private conflicts unrelated to any criminal activity. A smaller, but louder, group online jumped to more dramatic conclusions, despite no evidence to support them. It's important to note, there is currently no public proof that Matt Roloff was involved in, aware of, or connected to any alleged wrongdoing. No documents, reports, or official statements link him directly to the incident described by witnesses. What exists instead is a brief, emotionally charged moment, filtered through social media and amplified by years of fan investment in the Roloff family. Still, in the world of reality television, perception often carries as much weight as truth. And once that phrase entered the public conversation, it took on a life of its own. By the end of the day, what may have been a localized law enforcement matter had transformed into a full-blown online mystery, one driven not by confirmed facts, but by a single sentence shouted at the worst possible moment. Very little is publicly known about the tenant at the center of these allegations, and that uncertainty is exactly what has made this situation explode online. No verified documents have been released identifying the individual, their lease terms, or even confirming how long they had been connected to the property. Everything circulating right now comes from second-hand accounts, screenshots, and retellings from people claiming to have witnessed the law enforcement response. And yet, despite all those unknowns, one moment continues to dominate the conversation. The accusation itself. According to multiple online reports, the tenant, while restrained by officers, shouted words that instantly shifted the narrative from a routine police matter into something much larger. The claim implied that Matt Roloff had prior knowledge of whatever situation triggered the police response. That single statement, caught by bystanders and repeated across platforms, became the spark that lit a wildfire of speculation. It's important to pause here and be absolutely clear. There is no public evidence, no legal filing, and no official law enforcement statement confirming that Matt Roloff knew about or was involved in any alleged wrongdoing. As of now, nothing substantiates the accusation beyond the words reportedly shouted during a tense, emotionally charged moment. Still, for many fans, the accusation felt plausible enough to question. Supporters of the theory argue that Matt Roloff has owned and operated Roloff Farms for decades. In their view, someone so closely tied to the land would naturally know who is living on the property, what structures are occupied, and whether any unusual activity is taking place. They point to Matt's hands-on reputation, past storylines from Little People, Big World, and his deep involvement in farm operations as reasons they believe he would not be in the dark. Others strongly disagree. Critics of that argument emphasize a crucial legal and practical reality. Property owners are not automatically aware of or responsible for every action taken by tenants or occupants. Large properties, especially those with multiple buildings and long-term rental arrangements, often involve layers of separation. Being the owner does not mean monitoring daily behavior, private disputes, or potential legal issues involving tenants. This clash of perspectives has created a sharp divide within the fan community. On one side are viewers who feel the accusation raises serious questions that deserve answers. On the other are fans urging caution, warning against turning a shouted claim into a presumed fact. Many point out how quickly rumors can snowball in reality TV fandoms, especially when there is no immediate official clarification. As the hours passed, speculation grew louder, not because new information emerged, but because none did. And in the absence of facts, theories filled the gap. Some fans began dissecting past episodes, interviews, and farm policies, searching for clues that may not even exist. Others called for patience, reminding everyone that silence does not equal guilt and that emotionally charged situations, especially involving police, are not reliable sources of truth on their own. What remains undeniable is this. That single accusation transformed an unclear law enforcement incident into one of the most debated moments in the Little People, Big World community in years. And until verified information is released, the story remains suspended between rumor, assumption, and reality. Before speculation runs wild, it's important to slow down and look at what is actually confirmed, not what social media assumes. As of now, there is no publicly documented SWAT raid confirmed by any law enforcement agency. No charges have been announced against Matt Roloff. No official statement has been released by Roloff Farms, TLC, or the Roloff family. So with so little verified information, why does this story feel so massive? Because silence creates a vacuum, and that vacuum gets filled fast. LPBW fans aren't casual viewers. They've followed this family for nearly 2 decades. They've watched marriages end, business deals fall apart, family relationships fracture, and long-standing tensions go unresolved. When something chaotic happens near Roloff Farms and no one explains it, fans don't just speculate, they connect dots. That's why the phrase, Matt knew, has taken on a life of its own. For some fans, it's no longer about literal evidence. It's about emotion. It's about past controversies, unanswered questions, and a growing distrust that's been building quietly for years. One shouted sentence, whether accurate or not, became a symbol for everything fans feel was never fully explained. In the absence of facts, interpretation becomes truth for many people. And in the world of reality TV, perception often matters just as much as proof. This isn't just a rumor spreading. It's a reflection of how deeply invested this audience is and how quickly uncertainty can turn into belief when transparency is missing. At the end of the day, this story isn't about proving guilt or declaring innocence. It's about how quickly unverified claims can transform into viral narratives, especially when reality TV fame, alleged law enforcement activity, and public silence collide. As of now, there is no verified evidence that Matt Roloff had prior knowledge of any alleged wrongdoing. And it's crucial to remember that accusations shouted in the middle of a high-stress confrontation should be treated for what they are: claims, not conclusions. In today's online culture, speculation often fills the gaps where facts are missing. But responsible discussion means staying grounded, questioning sources, and waiting for confirmed information, not letting rumors write the story for us. We'll continue to follow this situation closely, and if any verified updates or official statements emerge, we'll bring them to you, clearly, carefully, and without exaggeration.